DNA is the language of life. It's what makes you, you. DNA is an incredibly remarkable molecule that's found in every single one of your body cells. But what makes DNA so special? Well, have you ever tried to bake a cake from an old recipe? You know, a recipe that's all old and its pages are all yellowed and it's impossible to read? It wouldn't be very easy to make a cake off of that recipe. But can you imagine if instead of decaying, that recipe changed over time to provide a new and unique dessert for each generation? That's what makes DNA so special. It contains all of the ingredients that make you unique. Now, DNA is made of a long chain of molecules called nucleotides, and certain sequences of nucleotides are called genes. Each gene has the instructions for making one protein. You can think of proteins as the actual ingredients of your cake. Each one of them has an important role to play in building the cake as per the DNA's instructions. Now, you inherit one set of genes from your dad and one set from your mom, and usually the inheritance process goes off without a hitch. However, sometimes mutations can be introduced. These mutations alter the functions of a protein, and this can also cause it to stop being able to perform its original function. This means that even single mutations can have dramatic consequences on the health and happiness of individuals, such as in the case of cystic fibrosis and sickle cell anemia, both diseases that can be inherited and passed down to future generations. Now, while problematic mutations are rare, the diseases they cause are often underfunded and poorly understood. These are what we call rare genetic diseases.
Rare genetic disorders affect 1 in 12 Canadians. That's 3 million people, or the populations of Halifax and Toronto combined. Now, on a more global scale, approximately 250 million people are afflicted by these rare genetic disorders. That's comparable to the population of Indonesia, the 4th most populous country in the world. The problem, however, is that the incidence of these diseases is extremely low. There's approximately 7,000 diseases known to mankind, however, only a handful have been diagnosed in some people. So not only are these diseases very rare, only about 3% of them have effective treatments and therapies. This makes it very difficult for the patient, their families, their friends, and their communities at large. Families can accrue massive costs trying to look for treatments and therapies throughout the lifetime of the patient. And this can make it very difficult because they have to make drastic lifestyle changes. And when the child is born, it can be very difficult for the parents to raise a child with this disorder. Additionally, 50% of these rare genetic disorders don't show many signs or symptoms until later into adulthood. And this can play a major disruptive force in the lives of patients as they get older. But it's still important to remember that there is hope for these patients.
For any issue as complex as genetic disease, there's never going to be an easy solution. Many disorders require genetic sequencing in order to diagnose, which can help determine the exact mutation responsible for a patient's disease. While initially expensive, genetic sequencing is now becoming more affordable, to the point where it will soon become commonplace in most doctors' offices and hospitals. RGI is a research center that helps connect families to genomic sequencing technologies and researchers that specialize in their field to improve the lives of these patients when conventional methods cannot. However, once a genome has been sequenced, there are a number of ethical challenges that arise, such as what to do when a fetus has positive for genetic disorder, or when someone finds out they have a high chance of developing a disease later in life. Luckily, these patients are not alone in their fight. More research is being funded to look into new treatments and provide a better understanding of rare genomic disorders. However, that being said, raising awareness and keeping the conversation going are vital in the ongoing fight to help those in need. So, what's so special about DNA? Well, it always leads to a new and unique person. But, just like some cakes, people with a rare genomic disorder might need a little bit of help to rise.